All right, welcome back to the Tool World podcast. I'm your host, Dave Jew, and I'm here with Master Jew.
How's it going there, Mr. Jew?
We're okay.
At our San Ramon location.
Yeah, we're changing it up a little bit.
Changing it up.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right, well, this week we're going to talk a little bit about the differences between a low side block versus extending the arm. I think you have some different variations of that, actually. So you have ones like in taege, where you're doing a back fist strike and the other arm's extending, right? In the same pattern, you also have a back fist strike, but you're doing a low side block right before the jump, right? You have zhengzhang, with straight arm, right? Or how about like moon mu, where it says extend the arm out, one. So
right.
Out or down, right? So we have a lot of different variations here. Why don't we go through them? And let's start with what is the difference between low side block and extending the arm?
Well, first of all, I want to say that for all you guys that are listening, you're going to have to imagine what we're talking about.
Well, hopefully I described it well enough that you know what we're talking about. But
and then if you're watching on YouTube, it's going to be, we didn't really demonstrate it too much.
Right. But well, yeah, that's true.
Anyway, let's dive into that.
Yeah.
What do we got? Which one did you want to talk about? Well, I guess so.
Let's start with the low side block, because I think really we want to talk about that extending the arm, but how do we differentiate between the low side block versus the extending the arm when you're using both arms?
Okay, well, if it's a low side block, obviously it's a block. And it's to my side.
Yeah.
We see this commonly like in a walking stance, like four directional block or four directional punch, real basic. Mm-hmm. And it's basically to my side, even though I'm facing forwards, to my front side. Again, like if you look at real basic terminology, low side block in the left walking stance, the arm is slightly bent, about 25 degrees, and if you're blocking with your outer forearm. If it's a knife hand, then obviously that's a little bit different. That's a bent about 10 degrees on the elbow. So I would say that is one of the definitions of that. When you do that particular technique with a combination of, let's say, a back fist strike or whatever, that still has to happen compared to, let's say, extending the arm.
All right, so then what about extending the arm? Where do we locate it? Is that in the middle, side front, off to the side?
Oh, I believe it's usually extended to the side front.
So it's in line with the shoulder.
In line with the shoulder. We don't do the arm extension to the middle of our body or the solar plexus line or the center line. So it's to the shoulder line or the side front, if you want to call it that.
And so why would we extend the arm? So I could technically do a block, right? Like if I'm doing taege, I could be blocking and striking, right? For movement number 3, we'll be very specific. Movement number 3, you could block and strike, but no, it just says extend, right?
Yeah, so the previous movement, if we look at taege, you have this upset fingertip thrust. So right arm, well let's say if we did an upset fingertip thrust with our right arm, right, or right hand, and the left hand is to the shoulder. When you execute, really it's a reaction hand. So think about this. This right arm is going to come up and it's going to be bending, very similar to this other arm, which is already bent. And so remember, for every action, there's an opposite reaction. And they have to be equal. And so when you bring this arm down, this is already extended. It's equal to the other, to the attack.
So
does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's an equal reaction hand. So theoretically, can I do movement number 3 with the back fist strike and the hand going to the hip?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. So if I was using taege and this right arm's coming back to the back elbow straight, the arm's fully extended, what would you have to do to make it equal? This left arm would probably have to be fully extended and then coming back to the belt.
So it goes out.
Right. Or if you don't do that, that means this reaction hand would just come to the belt. And is that the same distance as the attacking arm, you see?
Is it important to have that same distance?
In theory.
Well, it's all theory.
That's one of the, I believe that's one of the training secrets, action, reaction, they have to be equal. It's not, otherwise it's not balanced. When you think about punching, if you're punching, your right arm is fully extended and the left arm was not completely the same distance, and the body mechanics don't work quite the same.
Okay. All right. So let's move on. So now we have moon moo, right? So if you're like third down and below, you go ahead and click off this video. Actually, no, you should watch the whole way through because our YouTube algorithm gets.
But that was okay.
No, not that. not that technique.
Not that technique.
It's
Okay,
towards the end of the pattern. So I do the high twisting kick and I step back. I do a back fist strike and I extend the arm out.
Right.
So is it straight out or is it down? I don't know what movement that is, but like I said, it's
Which
after
number?
the high twisting kick. Yeah.
Movement number 25. No, I don't know.
No, it has to be way higher than that. It's like at the end. It's probably like 40 something.
Let's just say movement number 1.
No, it's not movement number 1. But yes, do you know what technique?
Yeah, I know what you're
Okay,
talking about.
maybe I'll put it up on the screen right here. I'll be right there, okay?
Right.
But yeah, so you extend the arm out. Is it forward? I think the application or just the encyclopedia photo shows it kind of like it's kind of high. Or is it down? Is that arm straight? Is it locked out, right?
I would say that it's not really like a low side block, so I wouldn't do that. It would look like a low side block. I do think it's still a reaction hand, but not to put it down low. Then it starts looking like a low side block. And then everybody that goes to these tournaments and they go, oh, he won, gold medal winner, and you see how he did that technique? It was down low. That must be the correct way.
Right.
Right. But he doesn't say exactly.
Right.
Exactly where is the height? Is it shoulder line? Is it the solar plex line? Or is it, low? Well, let's think about it. What's the distance between all of these? I mean, if I was doing this back fist strike, and that has to come down really low. I mean, it's...
Well, maybe Moo is not a good example because it almost seems like it's a front back fist strike where you extend and then pull like in, but it's broken into 2 moves. 1, 2.
Well, front back fist strikes
could
are...
be the back and front at simultaneous.
Right, you should perform it that way. As the back fist strike behind you is secondary to the one in front of you.
Right.
And so the reaction hand, I would say definitely the reaction hand, you want to minimize it. So your hands are kind of at the, let's say, the solar plex line, or where your solar plex is.
Yeah.
It's gonna, you don't want that arm to go straight down and the other one's going straight back.
Right.
Is what I think is the answer to that.
Would you say this extension of the arm in Mumu is the same as Teige? It's just a reaction hand?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that's true.
Okay.
And it's interesting because you look at Teige, the hand is down, it's going up.
The hand is up and it's going down.
It's down and right. But when you look at Mumu, the hand is more like at the shoulder line, and so you want to keep that same distance.
The ready position is more like in front of the body. Because I'm doing the high twisting kick. I think you do a high block with the knife hand. High twisting kick, so I relax, the hands are in front. I pull back and then pull forward.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
So that's why it wouldn't be down by the low side block position.
Okay, sounds pretty good. I like that.
You like that?
Yeah. Let us know your guys' thoughts on the extending the arm.
Reaction hand.
Reaction hand. And sometimes you just get confused. Is it low side block? Is it reaction hand? Or is it extending the arm? It could be all these kind of things. And we forget.
We do forget.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it looks like that.
Right. And this question came up because someone was like, well, is the arm bent? Is it straight for Jungjiang because they're a second dan? And I'm like, well, you have to look at what is the verbiage.
Right. What about Warong, where you do the...
That's also extending the arm, right? It's a side front block and then extending.
That's another example of reaction hand, really.
Right.
Because it does look like a high side block with the inner form and a low side block with the outer form.
Right. So technically, you could spin around and just, I guess, right?
You could do that.
You could do that. Let us know you guys' thoughts on extending the arm versus low side block. And as always, don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Take one.